All right, Darren, we'll start with you.
All right. Well, Vince, congratulations. I'm just curious what you did to celebrate the new deal.
Not a whole lot yet. It's kind of happened fast, and I didn't really know exactly when it was going to be done. But Friday night, I was in a golf tournament when everything was getting wrapped up. So I saw my family before that, and hung out with some friends on the weekend, and went back to see my family on Monday and caught up with them a little bit. Went for dinner. So nothing too exciting yet, but I'm sure we'll do something big here soon.
Was this what you were hoping to get with this deal? Were you hoping for a different term or different dollar amount? Are you pretty happy with where you ended up?
We were pretty back and forth the whole negotiation. I thought this one made sense for both sides, and there was no hostile disagreements on anything. It was a pretty smooth negotiation, which I was pretty thankful for. Obviously, we were really close to the ARB case date, but by no means did either party want to get to that point. So I was just really happy with the way everything went, and I'm so excited to get the deal done.
Scott?
Hey, Vince, congratulations on the contract. I just wanted to see, I'm sure obviously a lot of people have probably congratulated you. Has any particular message stood out, or, good, bad, funny, anything like that?
I think it was just nice to hear from everyone I thought I would. A lot of extended family and friends, coaches, everything who's been a part of this along the way. I know this hasn't been my first contract, but it's always nice to hear from those people again, because I've had a lot of help on the way. So I just think having phone calls with people that have helped my career, and just hearing it from my family to know how proud they are of me. It's obviously a big step in my career. So I'm just really excited to get things going next year.
Mike, let's try again.
Yes, thank you. Sorry for the difficulties on my end here. Vince, congratulations first off on the extension. And as you've crossed this bridge now, what have you learned more about yourself and about this city in the course of 2 years?
Yeah, I think for myself, I've definitely grown as a person and a player. I'm kind of getting to that age where I'm trying to be more of a leader. I've been in a lot of different scenarios and a lot of teams that have been in different spots in the playoffs, out of the playoffs, really close to making the playoffs or not being in the playoff picture at all. So I think just for my experience for myself, really just want to be a leader next year. I want to take the next step in that sake. But as far as the city goes, I think we've definitely made a name for ourselves. Going into next year, we're going to be no surprise to any teams playing against us. And I think everyone who's been a part of the organization, even if they were only a part of it last year, they've seen how much help we have from ownership and management. Everyone's on board, which is really important, and we're given all the opportunity to succeed every day. So as far as that goes, it's a beautiful place to play. I think when everybody visits and the people in the community, they all know how beautiful our building is, how beautiful the city is, and just all the support we have from everyone. There's really no reason why we can't succeed as an organization, and I'm happy to be here for another 4 years.
Erica?
Thanks, Lindsay. Hey, Vince, good to see you. Congratulations. I wanted to ask you a little bit about what you see as the growing culture for the Seattle Kraken, and what you're excited to bring to that now that you were able to re-up with the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, I think talking to other people, one thing they always say is how hard we work and how well we play as a whole. I think all the success we had last year was everybody contributing and doing their part. So I think that's definitely a very good culture to be a successful team and a winning team. And I think just being in the dressing room every day, there's not a room you feel scared to walk into. Everyone's welcoming each other with open arms, new guys and old guys, even stepping into the coach's office or management office. There's never a bad feeling. And I think that just makes everyone bring out the best in their game, and they're able to just walk around and play confidence. So I think that's just really important to build around that. And for the guys that have been part of the organization last year and the year before, to just continue that and help grow this team into another level.
Glenn?
Vince, if you would, please reflect on how your game has grown and evolved since the time that you were a healthy scratch with St. Louis.
I think you start to learn a lot of things that maybe are outside of your control, and you start to understand how much of a business this can be and how much everything really matters. It's not just how you play, it's how you carry yourself as a person. Coaches want to see you handle adversity well and go through the hard times and the good times, without having to worry about their players. So for me, I think my game has evolved. I've tried to be more of a dependent player, and I love the responsibility that I had last year. I think in St. Louis, my time was a little different. I think the opportunity was a little different there. And I think here in Seattle, I've really just tried to grasp onto that and give it my best every day and just be a good person around the room. I think that goes a long way. And I think that energy is always contagious. So I think for me, just being happy at the rink, being a lot better mentally away from the game, I think that helps bring your playing level to the best it can be. And I think I tried to do the best I could with that this past season.
As a follow-up, you mentioned about being able to talk to the coaches and to management, and Jared McCann recently said the same thing. And in your journey with different coaches and managers you've had, is that normal or is that unusual to have that kind of open door policy?
I think every team operates different. I think even the way coaches coach, you can kind of take their advice a little differently. Coaches and management approach you in different ways. So I think it's just managing the room and understanding the message they're trying to give you. I've had coaches that are very laid back, and I've had coaches that are really hard on their players, but at the end of the day, they're all trying to send the same message. And I think that's just something that you have to understand and digest well, to not take things personally, because all these people want the best and they're there to have a successful team. So I think, like Jared maybe mentioned to you, it's nice to have the management and the coaching staff that we do, where you can approach them. They give you a direct message and you're not walking away from conversations wondering what they were trying to tell you. So that makes it a lot easier to translate that and to just understand what they're saying and just go out and play.
Thank you.
Jeff?
Hey, Vince. You mentioned earlier that you think that your new deal works well for both sides, for you and the team. I'm wondering specifically how it works for you. It seems from the outside as if this almost gives you a chance to bet on yourself and then be able to, potentially test the market again in 4 years' time, if you can, sustain your level of play. So I'm wondering how you view it, how you viewed how things turned out.
Yeah, like I said, it kind of bounced forth with the term and what the average was going to be. There was never really a direct number of years that I wanted to sign necessarily, and I think Seattle was or Ron and Ricky were kind of back and forth with what they wanted to do. So I think this played well for both parts. In 4 years brings me to 30, and I've talked to Ricky, and I'll be talking to Ron soon. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to run away at 30. It's a good age to renegotiate for both sides. There's going to be a lot of different changes with maybe a possible expansion team or the cap rising. So I think it just makes things easier for both sides over the next 4 years. And like I've talked to them before, that by no means do I want to leave after those 4 years. I've loved every single moment I've been a part of this organization. They changed my career, my life for the best 2 years ago. So by no means is this the cutoff, or am I looking at that as the endpoint with the team?
Mike?
Hey, Vince, last year the production was as good as it's ever been for you, and nobody was better as a team compared to any second-year team out of expansion. What kind of goal setting is in play for you as far as being a leader and your teammates for the steps ahead this next year?
Yeah, I think like I mentioned before, we're not going to be a surprise to any teams coming into next season. We're going to get everyone's best, and we need to be prepared with that. So for us, I think having the goal to make the playoffs again is very reasonable and very achievable. We've lost some pieces, but we've definitely added some really good parts to the team. So I think for myself, I don't really have any major personal goals. I don't want to drop off by any means. I think more or less I want to put the team first, like I did last year and like everyone did last year, and just focus on team goals. I think we're so close to achieving something really special, and I think that's where everyone's focus should be.
Erica?
Thanks again. You talked about not having necessarily any individual goals, but now that you've had a little bit of time removed from the exit interviews, which was, pretty much right after the season ended for the team, what really stands out to you about what the team has been able to accomplish? You've mentioned that a few times, but in hindsight, what stands out the most for you?
Well, I think just the 360 that the team had going into the second season last year. I just think the whole atmosphere in the arena was not tremendously better than the first year, but just very different. And I think other teams are really starting to notice how loud and how difficult it is to play in there. So I think the goals of our team and where we see ourselves as a team compared to our very first year is very, no, we're not going to be a pushover. So we need to understand that. We need to roll with the confidence that we've built, the culture that we've built, and just continue that in the seasons ahead and not look back. I think we definitely have a chip on our shoulder from last season. We saw how close we could get. So I think we just need to bring that into the next year and really believe that we really have a team that can win.